Right, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to FTRL, and it's the time of the game where we have F1. This time we're at Belgium or Spa. I'm not going to try and pronounce the second word, because I can't. Joining me as always is Recall, and for the first time, just to see how he feels, is Zom. How are you guys doing?
Evening. All right, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, fine mate, fine. How are you, Lee?
I'm all gravy. I'm all gravy. How are you, Joe?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Now, this
For those
marks
who
the
don't know, congratulations
official
are in order,
halfway.
aren't they, Mr. Burns?
Yeah, yes, they are.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Brought another little another FTRL child into the world.
Yes, the newest FTRL member. Don't worry, she'll be signed up for F3 soon. I'm working on it.
Oh God, I don't need somebody else to beat me, please.
I'm saving up for a wheel. um, but yeah, so this marks the official halfway stage. So how are we feeling so far? Which way do we think this is going to go?
Based on the testing times, it's going to be hard to look past Tico. He has been lightning quick around here, as he has been at most circuits this season so far. He's been up there with. Obviously, he got a bit unlucky last time out with the wet qualifying. It maybe put him a little bit out of position, and then obviously got caught up in the opening lap melee. Which meant that he only salvaged a fifth place, but still solid points. And I think if the weather stays dry for qualifying and in the race, then I think he's definitely one to watch again today. But Panda also not far off him in the time trials, so it's be interesting to see who can take the fight to those two.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see how Pagani gets on as well. And I get a really sneaky feeling about Lennon here for some reason.
Well, he just popped in the Discord. He was just fetching a setup, which suggests to me that he's not done a lot of time trialing around here yet. So it could be interesting to see how he gets on. I think, based on how I was going last night, he could very easily end up in the wall at the top of Radion. But we shall see.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm underestimating him, but maybe he will absolutely fly.
Yeah, he's not slow running. It's interesting that you mentioned Pagani as well, because Pagani's normally quite good around here. And he got a decent result in his first F1 race last week. Got a P8, I believe. So already a couple of points on the board. As you can see, we're not full of drivers tonight, unfortunately. Still a couple of guys on holiday. Obviously, the championship leader, although I don't think he will be the championship leader come the end of this race. With Dutch moving within 3 points of him. But yeah, championship leader currently is on holiday. We're missing a couple of other guys due to various reasons. Hopefully that will be sorted by next week, and we can crack on then with, hopefully a full grid by then.
It's that time of year though, isn't it? People are on holidays and...
Aye, unfortunately.
And here we are, sat commentating on F1. They're studying themselves. But hey, who wins? I think we win. I think we're in the best seat in the house.
Of course. Alright, a couple of times flying in. Now, it must be said, our league owner has finally changed his name to FTRL Aaron Taylor. So there we go.
He spoke Aran wrong. Oops. Got some yellow flags. Hopefully that's just somebody slowing to let other drivers pass. Yeah, seems to be the case.
Looking quite good for Haas at the moment though. A 1-3 for those guys. Tico hasn't set a time yet and has just gone back into the pits. Danny, I think, has lagged out again, which is unfortunate because he was in a pretty good spot last week and lagged out and couldn't get back in.
Yeah, that's very sad because he definitely goes well in the wet. I think we saw that from the pre-season race and in qualifying, and he was looking very strong in the race. But like you said, unfortunately lagged out and couldn't get back in, and his ghost car just fell to the back. And he's back in the room now, so hopefully he will stick around a little bit longer this time.
And I've actually just had a glance over at the YouTube comments, and he's actually put on there he got the wrong setup, so I think he left to go and get one.
Yeah. Fair play.
Yeah, already got a few of the guys in here. We've got Lennon, Donzo as always, Bran, Liam. So yeah, a few guys in here. Nice to see.
People wants to know hashtag where's Ravers. Unfortunately, the people's champion has, we believe, injured himself playing cricket, and is not with us this week. Hopefully, he'll be back in the pit lane next week for us. So it would appear that work commitments have got in the way of racing this week. So unfortunately, you'll have to be cheering for somebody else, boys. So tell us who you want to win in the absence of the people's champ.
Worth noting as well, the man I'm currently on board with, City Posh, finally joins us in the Williams. Not had a race this season, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does.
Yeah, good to see where he stacks up. I thought Tico and the Ferrari now out on another outlap, so expect to see him set a time now. So let's talk tyre strategy, boys. What do we think for this one? I know a lot of some of the guys have been saying they reckon soft to medium can work around here. Obviously, it's only a 22 lap race. It is the longest circuit on the calendar this season, but 22 laps, I reckon you can possibly get 10 laps on the soft set of tyres and then switch to the mediums.
Interesting. Well, I mean, that would hold up because the majority of the guys out there are all on the faster tyre. It looks like there's a couple going for the mediums and maybe the softer tyre at the end of the race on less fuel and such things.
Couple of hard laps.
Yeah. Going to be
Down here onto the podium.
Just a quick shout out there, Co-Andy and City Posh have popped themselves up into 3rd and 4th. So Co-Andy had a very strong race last week, got himself onto the podium after barely missing out at Baku. So considering the good form he showed last week, and obviously City Posh a bit of an unknown quantity this season, but showing pace straight off the bat.
Yeah, he's a very quick driver, City Posh. I very much like him. Currently on board with Dutch here. He's got a very good chance tonight at really knocking Zach back a little bit. Try and get back his championship.
He did everything he needed to do last week by taking the victory, although given another lap or two I think he might have been picked by his teammate, but he held on, so it's interesting to see what he can do this week. He wasn't quite as high up in the testing times as I would have expected, but obviously testing is one thing and this is race day and this is what really matters. Just currently watching Tico's lap. He's on the edge on the curbs. He is really hustling his car around this lap.
I think he's coming up behind the back of Dutch as well, actually. He was actually backed out of his lap. So hopefully Dutch doesn't get in the way.
Quite a lot of people on outlets now as well.
Right. Yeah, just saw Dutch's car.
Yeah, I think he's probably out of reach, so he shouldn't distract Tico as he comes around.
Ferrari looking gorgeous with that new 90th anniversary livery. And there you go.
Himself straight onto pole.
That's quite a good insight, that, because it looked like he ran wide across a few curbs where you would normally expect an invalid lap, but
I don't think it slows you down too much on some of them though. The ones that it does, it tends to spin you, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'd say there's a few flat curves around here that you can run wide onto, and a few rounded curves you probably want to stay off. Definitely.
Wheel flex. I'm not sure who that is.
Just got Dutch locking up there as he starts to head down the hill. Another one riding the curbs.
He's just gone through the long left-hander, which the name of escapes me. But if you get the inside of the curb there, it can really throw you off into the barrier. It does not like you touching the curb on the inside.
Yeah, I found that out a couple of times last night to my detriment.
Panding on top.
Yeah, great.
Those two very tight, just 100th of a second between them. There was no more point than a tenth between them in time trial either, so it could be looking at the battle for the win between Panda and Tico so far. But what can
Dutch is on a fast one as well. In the final sector.
Let's have a look in the top right.
The bus
See
the cane, just a bit of a lock up again.
a little bit of a slide. DRS open
He
down to the line.
goes. Fastest.
Wow.
What a time!
So those new pedals are working out quite nicely for him.
Aaron just set a fastest first sector, I think.
Let's go on board with him. And he's 6/10 up on his own time right now. So that would put him 4th at the moment. On course for a P4, but he's so fast as well. That's his first sector. I want to touch on Panda as well because he's one of those guys that has been in FTRL a long time before. Obviously, a few of us guys joined. Sort of in and out of pace, but this season with the new game, it just seems to be clicking. Obviously, last season, towards the back end of the last game, he had sort of internet problems and would always lag out, which was really unfortunate. But I mean, touch wood. This season, everything just seems to be going alright for him. He's obviously picked up a win as well in the drama-filled Baku race.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's looking and he's quick on the time trial, seemingly everywhere. So he's going to be there or thereabouts, I think. I think the new cars and the new front wing and the way the car's handled seems to really play into his driving style. I think he's going to take it to those that we expect. We've seen at the front most weekends, the two Ferraris and Dutch. Now he's back, but Panda's been there or thereabouts pretty much every session as well. Obviously put him on the front row for the season opener at Bahrain. Showed great pace last week as well. So yeah, I think he's definitely one to keep an eye on today. Obviously sitting P2 at the moment, less than half a tenth off pole position. So top 3 looking very, very close. Just Tico there, just rolling out for another crack at pole position.
Red Bull are apparently giving out bagels in their garages as Pagani's just currently sat there munching on one.
Meanwhile, his teammate has just popped himself up into 4th position, F3. Great pace from him.
Yeah, he's just returning. So
That's a weird lag on that Williams then. It was floating around all over the place.
Interesting. Got everybody back in the pit. Knock off a bit of fuel. Wait for the right time. And come back out. Tico, like you say, yep.
Andy on his way out as well. He's just starting to trundle down pit lane.
I think we'll
he was
see
saying
everybody.
that his middle sector was letting him down a bit. So
I'm saying that some of the setups the guys have been running here, there's quite some extremely different setups. So I've seen some guys running pretty much minimal wing on the front with one, and then quite a lot on the rear to keep it stable, especially up through Rouge and Radion. But obviously that kind of setup's going to hurt them in the middle part of the lap where you've got the slow sweeping corners. And then other guys running sort of a more balanced setup, sort of 3-5 on the wings, and those guys obviously going to suffer a little bit on the straights, but make it up in that middle part. So maybe it's a mix of setups and the characteristics that they bring to the cars on different parts of the circuit. So maybe you're thinking Andy's maybe running that less front wing, more rear wing, make up the time on the straights.
looks like we're going to have everybody on the softs at the start.
Apart from Pagani, who I don't think will even come out and set a time. He's obviously watching, so he'll probably just come out and do a lap now, even just because I've said that. But he's looking pretty good at the moment, and I guarantee he won't mind starting on those. When still not set a time. Everybody's coming out now. Dutch is coming out behind a Red Bull. Is that F3? Yeah. So Dutch has got a little bit of traffic. He'll probably back off and try and find himself a little bit of room. I think Tico has been held up by somebody going up Eau Rouge. He's backed out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
There goes the
He
Alfa
came out
Romeo.
behind a lot of traffic as he came out.
Panda's about to start his lap.
So yeah, we've got everybody on track. Lennon finally making an appearance. Just going to give himself one lap to get it done.
That's very Lennon.
There you go. I'm
That's
still on
what he
board
was
with
doing. He
Panda.
did to every race. One lap, then quit.
CV list
So
going up the hill.
Yeah, took it down to the final minute, and as it stands, Dutch currently holding pole position from Panda and Tico. F3 and Co-Andy are your top 5. Top 3 covered by less than a tenth of a second, and the next 3 also covered by, next 4 in fact covered by less than a tenth of a second as well, so there's going to be some great battles as things currently stand.
It's looking alright for Panda so far. Backed out of it. Tico getting ready to go again.
Absolute queue of cars coming up to the bus stop. You've got
Co-Andy slightly upon his time.
Blue Flag, Danny, Lennon all coming to the bus stop, all probably too close to each other than they'd ideally like. Blue Flag's getting right out of the way there, trying to get himself some room.
I'm going to go quickly on board with Co-Andy. Like Tom said, it's a couple of tenths up at the moment.
Off.
Should jump.
Tricker's lost his nose. In fact, Dutch Tricker's outbraked himself into the final chicane, I believe.
Yep, yep, no front wing on that mate.
So he won't be improving his time, but here comes his nearest challenger, Panda. What can he do?
I think Panda's actually backed out of it because he's currently on 0 ERS and he's not going to have time to go again.
No, he's going to finish his lap.
There we go.
But yeah, like you say, it's a slow lap, so that's not...
Tico is up on his time slightly.
Well, slightly might be enough, because he's not far off.
He wasn't scared of riding those curbs on the inside.
I would be.
I can't tell who the car in front of him is.
I believe it's F3.
Oh, Tico has lost some time through sector 2.
But I think he was one of the ones running that low downforce on the front setup, so he could be making it up between now and the end of the lap.
Pushing Lennon on his one lap.
Cole's just pushed himself up into 4th. What a big slide.
F3 goes 4th. Tico stays 3rd. Got a Renault in the background, I think that's Danny. Across the line, stays P12. And Lennon now through the chicane. And there's an Alfa Romeo of Blue Flag, I think, behind him as well. Lennon puts in the time, goes P10, just pushes Pagani out. Blue Flag stays P12. All eyes now on Pagani, who I think has actually pulled out of it. Yeah, into the pits he goes. Just misses out on the top 10 on those mediums. I don't think he'll be too bothered about starting P11.
No, gives him that free tyre choice. So there's your qualifying, and it is Dutch Tricks, Panda and Tico, your top 3. So now we've seen qualifying. Guys in the chat, let's hear your podium predictions. And while we wait for the guys in the chats, guys in the comms. So Zom, let's come to you first. Podium prediction, please.
Top 3.
Top 3.
Aye. Joe, I'm going to go for Panda for the win.
Ooh.
Dutch in 2nd. And from nowhere, I'll go for Matt Kors for 3rd.
Interesting. Mr. Burns?
Do you know what? I actually agree with Zom. I think Panda is looking really good this season. I think Panda's actually gonna get it. I'm gonna go Tico P2, then I think Dutch will finish 3rd.
I'm gonna go Tico for the win. I'm gonna go Panda 2nd, and I'm gonna put Dutch 3rd. I think those 3 are just, if they make it round, they'll be the 3. I think they just look a little bit over everybody else in the field around here. You've got that group behind them, all closely matched. Matt Kors F3, Aaron.
The real question is how many people do you think are going to go out of that first corner?
I don't think the first corner is going to be a problem. I think it's going to be Eau Rouge and Radion. That's where we're going to have our first test of people's mettle and their setups, and if they can get through. So if they can get through there okay on the first lap, that'll be that's going to be an interesting one. Of course, this is one of the few circuits where it's probably actually beneficial not to be leading up Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time, because obviously you've got the long straight, the Kemmel straight is it after that, and obviously you get a great slipstream opportunity there, and you could be leading by the time you get to the end of the straight. And as it's your first time with us, Zom, I'll let you run us through the warm-up lap.
Oh, okay. So we'll start with Dutch at the start. Probably going to finish in the top 3, isn't he? Let's be honest. With Panda, fellow Haas driver, get a feeling he's going to be up there as well. Tico in 3rd, looking really fast in the qualifying. That first lap he was on the dirt and he still put in the flyer. F3, don't know very much about him to be honest, but he's fairly consistent at the top. Matt Cors in 5th. I think Matt's going to have a good race in this one. I don't know why, just get a feeling. Coandi in 6th, looking pretty good to be fair on his lap. Seemed to mess up the last sector, but I get a feeling he's going to be about where he starts. Aaron in 7th. Onto the podium down in 8th. I didn't see his lap to be honest. With City Posh Blue behind him, the guy I've taken out one too many times. Sorry. Down in 10th with 1 lap wonder. Wasn't his best lap, but if he only just got a setup before and he's not done any practice, that ain't too bad. He's not that far behind. With Pagani down in 11th. But did Pagani do another lap or did he do one on the medium?
He tried a lap on the softs, but I think he backed out of it just at the end.
Yeah.
So he's done 1 lap then. That's not too bad. Not too bad at all. It's all fairly close. Always is in Div 1 though, isn't it? It's not like us guys. Blue flag down in 12th with Danny at the back. I watched one of Danny's laps. He didn't have a very good time of it. He seemed to have a couple of mistakes. So
I think he was running on the hard tyres. That's probably why he didn't set very good times. I don't think he posted in the chat what was the strategy. So I don't think he doesn't put much time into this. So I've given him a clue, and we shall see. Interestingly, him and Pagani both out on the medium tyres, so they're going off strategy to everybody else. Expect to see them going a little bit longer and then coming on strong at the end.
I need to put the tyres up actually.
Now, I might be wrong, but I think the last race around Belgium was the practice race. Not practice, the performance race with the huge crash at the start. I think that was the last race around here.
We've got depleted numbers, so hopefully that won't happen today. Otherwise, it's going to be points all round.
Here we go then. Danny is in his box.
Right, I'm going to pop into the middle of the pack, and I'm going to watch Matt Cors from the start.
I've got Panda, so I've got a view of everybody.
So go. Good start from Tico. He's at the inside of Panda. Lennon also making moves into turn 1.
Lennon's through.
Matt Cors and Aaron having a little bit of coming together. I think everybody's alright though.
Matt Cors and Aaron going side by side into Eau Rouge. Oh, Cohen's had a big slide. He's into the wall. Oh, and Lennon as well, I think.
He stuck all of them out.
Oh, and onto the podium as well.
Wow. He stuck onto the podium and Lennon with him.
Matt Cors down to 10th.
Matt Cors had a huge slide and saved it, and behind him, Cohen, he just
doesn't look like he's got any
didn't
damage.
have the same look.
Wow.
Matt had a huge slide. How he saved that, I do not know.
He's got no damage either by the look of it at all.
I don't think he hit anything or anyone. I think he did it all himself, and behind him, Coandy was not quite so lucky. Neither was Lennon or onto the podium, unfortunately.
Not quite sure what happened there. Did Coandy go into the barrier and just crash out, and Lennon and onto the podium did the same, or
I think
did Andy collect them all?
Danny up from 13th on the grid. He's up to 5th on the opening lap. He's had an absolute storming lap. All
I saw was Andy go sideways across Eau Rouge into that into the barrier on the right hand side.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I was
okay.
watching that course and I just saw him in the background.
Yeah.
I saw Co and he's starting to spin in the background. And then as he hit the wall, I saw Lennon's car in there with him. I didn't even see onto the podium, so I don't know how he got involved.
Oh, City Posh and Pagani going side by side. Up towards the chicane. City Posh has got that move done, I think.
It's easily done though when there's one car. When you've got 3 cars wide, it's...
Yeah.
And that's all over the back of blue flag.
Yeah, Danny's in a really good spot now on those mediums. He's going deep into this race.
Yeah, he is.
Everybody ahead of him has got to pit quite early, you would imagine. All he has to do now is stick with him.
Top 3 just starting to inch away a little bit.
Oh,
no,
never
Danny's
mind.
lagged out.
Never
No,
mind.
Danny.
Spoke too soon.
No, Danny.
Oh,
Come
no.
back quick. Oh, devastating.
It
Absolutely
sounds like one of my races, that. I'm used to that.
Well, Aaron goes through. We're down to 9 runners on lap 2.
Hopefully he can get back in, pick up his car. Oh, it's absolutely heartbreaking for him.
Let's go and have a look at this battle for the lead. Pan dropped down to P3. Tico sticking with Dutch at the moment. All on the soft tyre, of course, so it's all going to have to happen on
pulling
track.
up now between 4th and 5th. F3 from Aaron. Nearly 2.5 seconds now.
Yeah, City Posh is right on the back of that Haas as well.
Everybody's queuing up behind that.
Yeah, Aaron seems to be struggling at the moment. I don't know if his setup just doesn't...
Is it his wheel? Is he
doesn't
on
like
racing with a
the
wheel
fuel.
now?
Is he?
Who's this, sir? Aaron's not racing F1 on his wheel, he's racing GT Sport on his wheel, but he's still on the
Yeah.
pad for this.
Right.
TK now right under the rear wing of Dutch. And as the
DRS.
DRS comes into play, I think he's not going to make a move into La Source, but I expect him up Eau Rouge, down the Kemmel Straight.
Yeah, look
The
how close he
DRS
is.
and pass into the lead. But he needs to give himself a bit of a gap, you don't want to be too close at this stage. As we saw
Panda.
a couple of years ago with Hamilton and Vettel.
Oh, here we go. I think Dutch had a little bit of a moment up the hill. A little
Panda
bit of a
wide as
wiggle.
well. DRS open for Tico, and he takes the lead. Panda's coming as well.
Yeah, I think
Dutch
Panda
holds
was
him
just
off.
a little bit too far back. But Tico moves into
Matt's
the
going up
lead.
the inside of blue flag. Got him. Matt up to 8th.
Just caught the end of that. But at this point, all you have to do is finish, and you have some points.
Easier said than done.
That's true.
So, just quickly go back through some of the guys' predictions, just so we didn't get a chance before the race started. Goy Carp in the chat reckons Dutch, Panda and Matt Cause for the podium. I think Matt's got a bit of work to do now, but he's not too far back, so the way the race has gone, still a chance.
We've got some
Emil
yellows.
reckons
Can't see what it is.
it's gone
Can't
against
see it.
some-
Yeah, I don't think anybody's gone off, but Danny I think has managed to get back in. Hopefully he can actually get back into his car. He's now 6 seconds
goes
off the
to the
back
minute.
of the Alfa Romeo, but at least he gets
I
a
think
point.
it was blue flag. Blue flag's now 7.5 seconds behind Matt Cause.
Yeah, okay. He must have made a mistake.
a
Has
bit
he
wide
got his
then, I think.
wing?
I'm just having a look now.
Meanwhile, Tico has not
He's
dropped
lost,
Dutch.
He's
lost end plate on the left.
Yeah.
Tico sets the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, Tico's flying at the moment, but Dutch is going to have
But he's
that
got-
huge advantage now with DRS.
Will we see what we saw last time round though? Or he just pulled a bit out on the run down the hill, but
Gym break.
to the outside.
Oh, City Posh with a penalty
Dutch
already.
gets done. Yes, we have a change for the lead. Dutch tricks back into the first position.
Danny's back in his car now, down to 5.3 seconds behind blue flag, so he'll catch him up because he's damaged.
His car a bit of a weave there just to make sure he's got everything working.
Well, this pack of 3 is showing their quality at the moment. They continue to fly
Really
away.
are.
And I think this is going to be a
Matt's
very
on the back
intriguing
of
battle.
Pagani.
It's the interesting thing now, does Pagani fight Matt Cause at this stage of the race, or does he let him go and just get his head down and focus on his strategy, his race?
He's on the mediums, isn't he? Should just let him go, really.
Aaron
Should
is
do the
really
race,
struggling.
instinct.
I don't know what is wrong with Aaron at the moment, whether it's his setup on higher fuel, but Aaron is not having the best of time. Pagani on the mediums is all over the back of him.
Seems solid enough through this part of the lap.
Yeah, a little bit
Maybe
too far
just
back.
the middle sector, he's struggling a little bit.
Back
Maybe
from
he's
Dutch.
got that low downforce setup.
Dutch punching back. Aaron is going to be so vulnerable here because I think Matt Cause is close enough to potentially get a run in him as well.
All got DRS so close there.
One more back up front.
Less than a second between 3 of them.
DRS again, Tico is close.
Yeah. This is just going to be happening
Opens
every
up.
lap this until one of them makes a
Down the
mistake.
inside. And Tico back to the race lead.
Matt's going to make a move here.
Yeah, here we
The
go.
inside of...
Pagani
Pagani.
gets it
Got
slowed
him.
down. Great move. Well done, Matt Cause.
Wonderful, lovely.
Nice clean move, could fight back now. Meanwhile, Danny making a move on blue flag for 9th. It's done.
Yeah, Danny just showing his pace. Without his connection troubles, I think Danny would be finding some really good results. It's a shame that he keeps disconnecting.
Yeah, it's an absolute nightmare. It's something I've had for the whole of last season and up until now. Constant
Thanks,
disconnects.
I'm blessed with a strong internet connection, thankfully.
Mine was the PlayStation, but it's the AI set low. You do go so slowly when you come off.
Indeed. So, on the top 3 clearing off, we've got F3 in a current solid 4th place, and City Posh in his first race in a currently sitting 5th. And yeah, it's great. Good showing from those 2 so far.
Dutch is right
so
on the back
close.
of Pico.
Yeah, he is so close. DRS will be open up to turn 1, but I don't think anybody, unless you're really close, will be making a move into
Yellow
the...
flag, blue flag's gone.
It's let Panda catch up as well.
Ugh,
Blue flag has crashed
wow.
out.
9
Where was
runners.
that?
I'm not quite sure where on the lap. I think it's possibly coming onto the back straight somewhere. I think that lack of front downforce might have hampered him.
You go then, Dutch up the hill.
These front 3 are so close now. Panda's going to keep catching up as well while these 2 battle.
Well, Panda's just keeping a watching
Side by
brief at the
side.
minute, not getting involved in the fight, but just keeping
Dutch in
himself in
front.
DRS range.
I think Panda's struggling actually to keep up with these guys. If you look at his ERS, it is
Yeah.
quite low.
16. I'll say that Tico and Dutch are only on in the
Oh,
30s.
Matt Cause has got past Aaron
That'll
into the
please
same
Aaron, no doubt.
corner. Yeah, so Pagani's going to be right on the back of Aaron as well. Not having the best of times, Aaron, at the moment.
Danny's got that gap down to 12.8 already. Cruising up behind.
Well, he's currently P9, but technically last, so that's strange to say. Dutch again all over the back of the Ferrari.
Oh, Danny going very wide there, just clipped that barrier I think on the way down the hill.
Panda's
Just
closed
bounced
up
off of his
massively as
tyres,
well.
so- Yeah, now when did Tico get back ahead of Dutch? Did not see that.
Oh, City Posh is
City
gone!
Posh is gone.
I just went on
Oh.
board with that. I think he has hit the wall because it sticks out a little bit as you come around the right-hander. Oh, I'm not sure
No,
actually.
he's crashed. He's crashed before.
Oh, Danny's gonna
Oh,
go!
Danny's wide. Oh, Danny.
So we're down to 8 runners on lap 7.
Wow. Panda's now 0.3 seconds behind.
Yep, this could be an
Right,
interesting
but
straight.
so after saying that he was dropping off the back, he's evidently heard us and got a move on. And caught the right back up again. Could we see a
He
double
keeps-
switch for the lead?
They keep switching positions and fighting. He's going to keep gaining those, isn't he?
I think Panda will probably be more than happy to sit behind him until the closing stages, just let these guys battle. Matt Claus has just picked up a penalty.
Yeah, he's lost some time as well.
So Tico managed to hold on to the lead that time around, so didn't lose it down the Camel straight.
Yeah, maybe Dutch has just decided probably pitting soon. Save a little bit of ERS. He probably realises Panda's now closing in, so probably best to just not battle Tico at the moment.
Lap 7 and down to 8. What's the fewest you've ever finished a race with?
I mean, at the moment, from what I've seen in FTRL, I think this would be the lowest.
It's my influence. That's what it is.
Well, then I hate to think what's going to happen on Tuesday, Wednesday, especially Wednesday.
Pagani still within half a second of Aaron.
And they've caught some Matt Coles again as well. Matt Coles been off the circuit because he's not pulled away like they might have expected him to.
Danny down to 11.5.
Dutch has had a big moment through the chicane, just about managed to hold it, but the top three all in the pit. Dutch nearly went into the back of Tico as well. So
yeah, that was close. This is going to be an interesting race off pit lane.
F3 stays out, so he takes the lead. Matt Coles, I think, will go through for P2. Pagani obviously still on those mediums, so he can still go. You'd expect another 4 or 5 laps maybe.
Here goes Danny up to 7.
Aaron pitted as well.
So Dutch has opened up a 2-second gap on Panda. So I don't know whether Panda was held up a little bit in the pits.
I don't think so. I think he just had a bit of a slow getaway. He looked a little bit tight. I think Dutch really maximised his pit lane. Close up on the back of Tico, and like you say, I think Panda's dropped back a little bit and then had a bit of a slow getaway, and you can see now it's a 2.5 second gap.
Oh, Danny's just had enough, but he's straight back on, just cut over the corner. But he's in 7th now, but he's on the medium, so he hasn't pitted yet.
Now right to the back of Matt Coles. I think that tyre switch over is starting to happen now. The medium's coming into their own as the softs are starting to go off. I'm not expecting to see Matt Coles or F3 do another lap. I would expect them in this time round. Got a yellow flag set to 2-3. Oh, Danny's gone around.
Oh. Yeah.
Similar place to City Posh.
Danny's gone past now. Matt and F3 into the pit.
Oh, and he's legged out again. Oh no. Just up to the back anyway. But yeah, his wing seems to be intact though, so he seems to be okay. F3 has carried on. Of course, he's on the medium tyres.
No, it's Pagani. Pagani's now inherited first.
Pagani, sorry, yep, sorry, look at the wrong one.
Yeah, F3's come out in 5th. Yeah, F3's actually in a really good spot now.
He is, yeah. Pagani's in the lead.
Aaron just behind Matt Coles and the exit of the pit. And Dutch has got past Tico for a net P1.
I do not expect that to be the end of this battle. I expect that to go on for another 13 laps yet. Now
Aaron going up the inside? No. Pulled out.
Does now look like a 2-horse race for the lead, with Panda dropping off the back. He's not made any headway on these two yet.
Aaron's all over the back of Matt.
Seems to be happier on the medium tyre.
Danny in the YouTube comments not having the best times. Pagani might be one to watch, you know. Everybody else is on the mediums, and at the end of this race, he's going to be on the softs.
It's true.
It's
very
see
true.
where he comes out in relative to everybody. Is a
He has got Dutch on the back of him now.
Yeah. He'll have to go a little while longer if he does go onto the softs. What they go? What 8 to 10 laps? So you'd have to get to at least 12, 13 to sort of maximise those softs.
Yeah, you're not going to want to be doing more than 10 on the softs.
right. Here comes Tico on Dutch.
Yeah. Comes from the
Down
outside.
the outside.
Outside. Lovely.
Panda now 3.5 seconds, so that just shows how much the slipstream is helping Panda. Because without it, he's massively falling off the back of these two. Pagani's just holding these guys up a little bit now. But he's well within his rights to defend this as much as possible before he pits.
Indeed, I expect them probably to follow him through.
Aaron's dropped off the back of Matt a little bit now. Starting to spread out a bit.
Yeah, Tico
seems to be
showing the advantage with those fresh tyres all over the back of Pagani.
Will he get enough of a run to get him down the straight here
Yeah,
towards
without
the
a doubt. Tico's already side by side, up the inside. Pagani just lets him go, I think. Here comes Dutch. Dutch is too far back. Oh no,
no point in
Pagani's just letting
defending
through.
Yeah, not fighting it, doing his own race. It's a sensible thing to do. Doesn't want to lose time and tire deg. Interesting, that has helped Panda close up by about a second.
Yeah, Pagani now, I think, will just use the DRS to pull himself along until he pits, which is really smart. Is Danny back in? No, that's unfortunate.
No.
Dutch, I think, is too far back on this lap.
So he's going to share the nose.
Yeah, he had a bit of a look. Right.
We're really starting to spread out now. Gaps between Matt and Aaron and F3. 5 seconds.
Yep,
6
closest
seconds.
battle we have is the battle for the lead.
So at half distance it is Tico leading from Dutch, the two title protagonists. As we'll see them both leapfrog ahead of Zach if they finish as they are, with Pagani running long on his first stint holding third. Panda in the Has still closing in a little bit, so he's not out of this yet. Those front two need to keep it on the track. Any mistake and he will be there to capitalise. F3 currently running in fifth in the second Red Bull. Matt Cause in the Toro Rosso. Aaron in the second Has in seventh, and Danny's Ghost Car running around in eighth. Hopefully they'll be able to get back in again before the finish.
Panda getting closer to the back of Pagani now. Close to a second.
Tico just keeping out of DRS. Well, he's in DRS range, but I think he's far enough ahead that Dutch won't be able to get him before. Dutch right on his tail by the time they get to the end of the braking zone. But if Tico can keep doing that, I think there's still a long way to go.
Oh, massive
Very
work
good
up
so
from
far.
Dutch.
Yeah, Panda's now under a second as well.
Let's try and keep an eye on both of these battles. I'm sure Pagani, like the other two though, will just let Panda go.
Be interested to see how fast Pagani is when he comes back out. with less fuel on the soft.
Yep, Pagani's pulled to the left, Panda goes through up the inside. Pagani's actually gone a little bit too far left and
Well,
has
wide.
run himself wide a little bit.
You think he was taking the old Spa circuit there? Of course, this is another one of those classic circuits that, when it was originally conceived, was about 15 kilometres long, I think.
Fact of the day.
In fact, a better fact than that, the first race was held in 1924. There you go.
Look at that, stats and things.
Stats. Hashtag stats.
So Dutch is going to have a go on straight.
Yeah. These guys, I think, they'll just
so close.
be backwards and forwards.
Carrying on again as well, so how much longer do we think he's going to run on those?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where he
within.
would come out. I think he would still come out in P7?
Well, if he's on the mediums, he's going to want to go to lap 20? No, lap 13, 14.
I would expect him to pit in the next couple of laps.
Change for the lead. Dutch hits the front.
On the inside. At some point, one of these guys is just going to stick behind. I know they probably want to run in P2 and they want to race, but at some stage, surely one of them has to just go, right, I'll tell you what, I'll sit behind, I'll save everything, and on the last lap, I'll overtake you.
Yeah, that strategy worked for somebody in Bahrain, didn't it, Joe?
Yes it did.
Look at you. So you can see they're both quite evenly matched on ERS at the moment, both at about 50, mid to low 50s, 51 for Dutch, 57 for Tico.
And Danny's still not back in his car.
I think Danny has probably called it quits, unfortunately.
I think Pagani has to pit. He has to. He's losing so much time to F3 now.
He's going to come up behind Aaron.
Yeah, Danny's put in the chat that he's give up. Give up now.
So, 7 runners. Wow.
It's worth
there we go.
Back in.
Pagani's in. Oh, he nearly hit the wall. Oh, Pagani. So his teammate goes through. Matt Claus will go past him as well. Aaron, just going about his own business at the moment, will go up into P6. But most importantly, Pagani is now on the faster tyre with low fuel, and I think he'll be absolutely rapid now in the closing stages of these races.
Change for the lead as well while watching that. Tico back to the lead. So
can't keep up with this.
So it's just every lap at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, Dutch there a bit wide on the exit there, just kicking for a bit of gravel, but it's all still pointing in the right direction.
Pagani's come out under 4 seconds behind Aaron.
I'm going to keep an eye on Pagani.
Yeah, I would expect to see some fastest laps. Dutch having a look up the inside. Just letting Tico know he's still there.
Nexus Cat in this chat currently spying out the strategies. So far it does look like soft to medium is the way to go, but we'll be interested to see how Pagani gets on now he's out on the soft tyres.
And the AI has pit Danny. Okay.
Pagani's gaining on Aaron pretty quick. Already down to less than 3 seconds.
Yeah, so even on his out lap, he's gained like
2.7. Flying up, yeah.
Liam would like to see the telemetry like ERS and stuff, please, Joe.
Put it up. I saw it. There we go then.
So here we go again, round 15 of Tico versus Dutch. Up the Kemmel straight. Dutch is close, he's already alongside. DRS now pops open, and he regains the lead. Tico's back into the slipstream.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they're both playing games here. I mean, they're both in the lowest DRS modes down that straight. I think it's just because it's so long. Even if you try and not get slipstream, you kind of have to overtake just purely because of the amount of speed that you get following the car in front.
Of course, you're going to suffer less tyre wear and clean air. So, obviously, if you're following the dirty air, you do run the risk of going off as Tico has a spin.
Oh, don't hit him, Panda, don't hit him, Panda. Oh.
Ooh, ghosted.
Right, Tico. F3's closing in on him as well. I think he's going to stay ahead, but F3 is going to be right on the back of him. And that wouldn't have done much good to Tico's tyres.
I think he'll be alright. I think the mediums are holding up quite well around here, but that does appear to have put pay to the battle for the lead is now over. And TK now 6 seconds off the back of Panda in third. So, one of them had to crack eventually, and unfortunately it was Tico. And that leaves Dutch, who's just put a lap on Danny's ghost car with a 4.6 second lead. Panda inheriting second place.
I'm going to go on board with Pagani because he's just
got under a second now.
Yeah, he's right on the back of Aaron and is absolutely flying at the moment. You can see Matt Cause as well, just heading into turn 1. So Pagani is going to be an absolute shark now. He can sense blood and he's going for it.
Still got a 50% ERS as well.
Comes the DRS.
Here we go. I don't think Aaron will put up too much of a fight. To be fair, there's not much Aaron can do at this point. Pagani just has so much more speed. And up the inside he goes. Little bit of a moment.
Looks like a slide.
So 4 seconds he has to close now to Matt Cause. But with the speed he's showing at the moment, he'll be with him within the next couple of laps. Dutch is pulling away from Panda. Tico, I think as well, with those what would be horrible tyres, I would imagine, after that spin, is falling off the back of Panda as well. And F3 isn't really doing much else.
You can imagine the red mist is currently descending inside that Ferrari helmet. After that moment.
Yeah, it's not been the best few weeks for Ferrari.
Yeah, since Zach has gone on holiday, obviously we saw Tico last week have a poor qualifying in the wets, got caught up in an open light accident, but salvaged 5th place. Third position, it's not going to be a bad result, but I think having been battling for the win, he would have hoped to have still been there come the last lap, so...
It's all really spread out now, isn't it? Not much going on.
No, not at the moment. Watching Pagani, can he nick those soft tyres and can he claw back the gap to Matt Cause for 5th? Well, just 5 laps to go.
I don't think Tico's going to get back at Panda.
No,
he's definitely pushing, but 5.3 seconds. He's not pulled a lot of time out of him since the spin. I didn't see quite what caused it. I don't know if he clipped that inside curb on the turn in or if he just lost the back.
I think he did,
yeah. He went around.
I think he went over the curb a little bit too much and it's just thrown him round.
So there you go, F2 and F3 boys, take note. Please avoid those curbs on the inside of that corner. They do not treat you well.
Panda's actually closed in by 3 or 4 tenths on that lap to Dutch, so Panda's still going at it.
I think it's one of those things, isn't it? You have to keep pushing, because if you start to relax a little bit and just roll yourself back a little bit in terms of how hard you're pushing, you actually make more mistakes than if you are fully focused, pushing at 100% the whole time. And it's it's a weird thing. You think, you know, driving within yourself would mean you make less mistakes, but if anything, you actually make more.
Definitely.
Finding that balance in it, racing on the edge.
Something I find that in a race, if I'm chasing somebody and I've got somebody to chase and focus on, it, you know, it keeps me focused, and I hit my marks a lot better. I'm pushing harder into the corners. There's a big lock up there from Dutch. But as soon as you get out in front and you've not got that focal point, suddenly you make mistakes. You miss braking points from wide. It's a weird psyche.
Garney's not gaining on Matt as much as I thought he would do.
Yeah, I think he's took quite a lot out of the tyres in order to try and catch Aaron, and now he's got past. He's pulling away from Aaron, and he is closing the gap on Matt Cause. But like you say, those tyres are getting older and older now, and the more he pushes, the more he's going to wear them. I still think he will catch him though by the end. He's down to 3 seconds, and I think Matt Cause has a penalty as well.
Just picked up another penalty there as well. I think he's got 2. Let's see if there's a race director. Let's have a look.
Pagani can still see him. I think a P5 for Pagani, regardless of how many drivers there are and how many have crashed. I think Pagani will be over the moon with that.
Well, that was Matt Core's second warning, second penalty actually. So net now, Pagani is ahead of him.
Well then, Pagani won't know that, of course, unless he's got the stream on in the background. In which case, hello Pagani.
How much time is Matt Cause's penalties? How many have you got?
He's got 2 3-second penalties, so he is 6 seconds in arrears, which actually puts him almost within range.
Yeah, Aaron's in the second behind that.
So there's a couple of places around the circuit where you're looking at track limits. One is here, both at the bottom of areas, if you take too much curb, trying to keep to the left. And then I expect to see quite a few people over the next couple of days taking too much curb on the inside and on the exit of Radion. And you've also got, is it Puon, that double left-hander?
That's the name I couldn't think of.
Where
Where Tico spin?
Oh, on the inside, yeah.
I think if you run a bit wide there, that's another place you can easily pick up track limit warnings. So obviously not quite as risky as Canada last week, but still a couple of places here catching people out, and Matt Cause falling foul of track limits a couple of times. Nexus Cats, am I completely wrong, or has Pagani not been in F2 this season? No, you are not completely mad. He was in F2 this season. Unfortunately, when Krez left us, was it Krez?
CJ.
CJ left us, we decided that Pagani should move up, and thus now Pagani is in F1. Is that answers your question?
As you can see, he's smashing it.
Indeed, he's taken to it like a duck to water. He had just missed out on promotion last year, didn't he, to blue flag. I think he's shown us. Oh, Aaron picks up a penalty now as well. There goes his chances of catching Matt Cause.
Just got in that under that 6 seconds as well.
Nexus Cats, oh nice, less competition. Well, you say that, but we have got Spike and Rampage in the league in F2 as well now, so you're not got less competition, you just got new competition, because don't worry, we wouldn't want you to go without.
So it's just hovering around 2 seconds now. It has come down a second over the last couple of laps, but I think with the amount Pagani's pushing, he's just got no ERS. He's just completely taken everything out of that car, I think. 2 laps to go.
It's all looking so easy for Dutch Tricks. 5 seconds in the lead now, and keeping that gap quite healthily. Panda in second, not really troubling now, and he's holding Tico at bay. Tico is closing in a little bit, but I think, like we mentioned though, extra wear from that big slide he had is obviously affecting his speed at this stage of the race. I don't think he's got enough in hand to catch Panda barring a mistake, but he has put quite a considerable bit of time back into F3 and 4th, so I think he's safe in 3rd position.
think we're going to get Pagani on the back of Matt on the last lap.
Yeah,
He's
it's
starting to close
1.4
in again
now.
now. He's taken half a second out of him this lap.
Matt Cause has a little bit more ERS. I mean, again, Pagani is just absolutely draining that Red Bull, but it's still working, and he's in touching distance. Here we go. Down towards turn 1.
He's not going to get the DRS. So.
Yeah, I think he's going to have DRS by the end of this lap if he continues with the pace that he's been having. So I think we'll be seeing a battle up here on the last lap. Panda's closed in a little bit on Dutch. Tico's fallen back a little bit.
Yeah, those three pretty much equal distance apart at the moment from each other.
Look how close Pagani is now. 1.2 the gap now as they head down the hill. And you'll start to get that slipstream effect now, so this is going to really help Pagani. Obviously he'll probably jump Matt Cause anyway on the penalties, but knowing Pagani as well as I do, he will definitely want to get this done on track, especially with it being Matt Cause.
Very true. Yep. Down to half a second now.
Here we go.
While race leader starts the final lap. Keeping that gap at about 4 seconds. Tico just dropping away from Panda now. I think he's given up the chase. But yes, the battle on track is now Matt Cause versus Pagani for 5th. We know Pagani's going to take it on penalties, but I think the racer and him will want to do it on the track as well.
A bit DRS into turn 1. Just gets him that little bit closer. Look how close he is now as they head down towards Radiant. Towards Eau Rouge. Quite far back actually. I think Matt Cause gets a better run through there.
Indeed. Also, Pagani's fuel light is flashing quite venomously. I know he likes to underfuel and save fuel, but I'm sure he's got it in hand. It's just from an outsider's point of view, a little bit worrying. Now, will the dirty air affect him like it did Tico? Oh, might curve on the inside as well, but he's kept it pointing in the right direction.
To be fair, everybody's fuel light's flashing, apart from Danny's.
Yeah, I think on the last lap, I think your fuel light does begin to go. I really want to watch Dutch cross the line. I'll tell you what, we will do because he's already here. Massive slide, but there we go. He gets the win.
Big weave.
And he will move into first in the championship. Another great drive from Panda. Tico will come home in P3 as well. I don't think Pagani's close enough.
Tico with the fastest lap of the race on the final lap.
So F3 will come home in P4. Fantastic result for him. It's actually a fantastic drive from both Red Bull drivers and a massive haul of points for those guys. Pagani does jump Matt Cause as expected. Yeah, into P5. Aaron by himself, P7. Well,
Scat did Dutch one stop. Indeed, he did. In fact, everybody one stop next to Scats. So most people going soft to mediums. Pagani being the
strategy.
Alien going medium to softs. If you're looking for strategy tips for tomorrow.
Yeah, well, there's mine sorted. Thank you, boys.
There's your podium. Dutch Tricks taking the win. Panda second and Tico in third. So nobody won the podium prediction this week, I don't believe.
No, definitely not. Way off.
I got mine the wrong way around.
Right, do you want to get the guys in? Let me know if you don't have them.
Sir. I think I've got them all.
Cool.
Go and that there.
I am stupid.
Yes, you are.
Wasn't even looking at our PS4 there, but I can already tell that was Tico.
Right, so our podium guys are here with us, and as is your first time with us, Tom, you can interview our race winner.
I will leave it to you guys for this one. I need to go and check on my lad, actually. But
Cool.
Fair enough.
Thank you for joining us.
Dutch Tricks, congratulations on winning the Belgian Grand Prix.
Thank you, mate.
So talk us through your race from your point of view.
Yeah, qualifying pole position, but I actually was really happy with the lap. But yeah, Panda got some problems and Tico as well. Same for me when I started my final lap. Yeah, after the start, managed to keep P1, and after that, yeah, I was pulling away from Panda with Tico together. It was a nice pace, especially after the pit stop. We had a gap to Panda and was only getting bigger and bigger, so that was nice. And then Tico spun, so I could even slow down even further. So yeah, it was a nice drive to get back.
Yeah, I say, I mean, it was a great battle between you two, just constantly swapping places up the Kenmore straight there, and sort of Panda keeping you honest, especially in the first stints. You didn't really seem to be troubled much at all by the circuit. I mean, I know a few people have been struggling with Eau Rouge and Radion and Puon, as we saw with Tico, but you made it look quite easy today. Yeah, is it Spa, just a circuit that you really liked? Are you really happy with the setup?
Yeah, I really like Spa, and I also heard that some people have problems with Eau Rouge, but I seem to never have a problem with it. Or but maybe when the tires are overheated or so. But I think it's just the balance of the car you have, and I think the setup helped it, of course, with it. And we don't know. I also had one moment at Radion, but yeah, I managed to keep it on track, but I did let Tico pass, so it was only a stressful moment of the race, I think.
Well, you made the rest of it look easy. So that's you now into the championship lead for the first time this season. British Grand Prix. It's been a while. It's been a while, but considering you missed the first race, I think that's still a great position to be in. So it's the British Grand Prix next, and obviously we should have Zach back for next week as well. So what's the plan for next week?
Don't know. I haven't driven much around Britain, and maybe it will be damage limitation, but I think podium is always able to grab it, and maybe a race win when other people are battling. Yeah, the top four, I think, with Tico, myself, Shaq and Panda included, and sometimes even Bren, it's pretty close at the front, so I think everything can happen.
Indeed, and we look forward to watching it happen. Yeah, congratulations on a great win.
Thank you, man.
Right, great job. So, Mr. Panda.
Hello, Mr.
Hello. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, pretty good.
Handed a P2 as Tico made a slight mistake, but overall, talk us through how the race was from your point of view.
Well, quality was obviously incredibly close between all three of us. As Dutch said, we all had a problem. My HDMI popped out for a split second for my TV, so my TV went black. Dutch hit the clutch instead of the brake, and Tico went validated or something like that. So it was, sort of thing you'd expect from F1, the top drivers in the division. Yeah, but anyway, it was very close. The seconds, I think, is the highest quality I've had since like Hungary like 2 seasons ago, so I can't really complain. But start of the race, you said, just about kept in DRS. Yeah, I think might have got like held up a little bit. I think as pit stops, because it seemed like I lost a couple of seconds, and then with those two in DRS, I just, as Dutch said, just lost a tenth or two every lap, and then Tico basically gave me a P2.
Yeah,
No
yes, he
problem.
did. But yeah, I mean, I mentioned it on stream in Quarry or the formation lot, and I was just talking about how unlucky you were getting last season with all the disconnections and things like that, and how it's really sort of just clicking for you on this year's game and this season. You're currently P4. You've already got a couple of wins. I say a couple of wins. You've had one win in Baku. The pace really looks there. Do you think you're a slight dark horse? I mean, you're not that far behind. Anything can always happen. Still, obviously, 6 races to go now after this. How are you feeling for the rest of the season?
I think I'm definitely the outsider. I think probably Zach, Tico, and Dutch have probably got a tenth or two on me. I think in general, but maybe I crash a bit less. I don't know. But I might just,
Thanks.
it might just be tonight. I don't know, but yeah, I think I'm an outsider. But if I keep, I think what's helped is that my quality's a bit better this year, so I've sort of out of the mid pack and more in the front 4. So I think that's kept me out of first lap incidents, and I guess if I keep doing that, you never know.
Yeah, well, I say, I mean, you missed the the week before Spain, so you're a race down as well. So I think you're smashing it. So next week onto Britain, as we asked Dutch. How do you think that's going to go? Obviously home race.
In the past, I'm terrible in Britain. I've never scored a point in Britain in an FTRL race, apart from performance once, I think. Well, actually, I might have even crashed in that. But yeah, generally not great. I think if I get a setup that gets me through Marius and Beckett's alright, then I should be okay for maybe a 5th or something. And it's definitely not my strong point.
Cool. Well, great job on the P2. Fantastic drive as always.
Thanks, man.
Ray, would you like to do Tico? Or is on back? I'm not sure. Crack on.
I'm guessing the silence is now, so I'll jump in. So, TK, obviously maybe a little disappointed with third, but still a great result. So just talk us through qualifying in the race from your point of view.
Qualifying was one of my worst laps I ever done. In the practice, half an hour before the race, I did a 42.6, so I was half a tenth off.
Oh God.
And yeah, my race start was good. I jumped Panda down the inside in turn 1, and then stayed behind Dutch, and yeah, we could follow each other. And after the pit stop, we stayed together, and Panda fell a bit of us. Yeah, and then I made a silly mistake, turned in too early in Pool, and I couldn't catch the car anymore. Yeah, and I'm really disappointed with P3. So.
Well, I'd say to be disappointed with the podium is probably a testament to the sort of season you're having and the speed you've been showing. Still though, I mean, despite the spin here, you're probably now P2 in the championship. Obviously still 6 races to go. And up next is Silverstone. So is Silverstone a circuit you enjoy? You're looking forward to it, or is this one of the circuits you're maybe not looking forward to?
Oh, it's one of my best tracks, so I'm really looking forward to that one.
So we expect the Tico we saw in the opening couple of rounds back then.
Yeah, I hope so, and I think so.
Well, I think you've been showing blistering pace all season. I fully expect to see you there or thereabouts again. Obviously, your teammate should be back next week. It seems to have coincided the little slump you've had with him being away. Do you think him being back is going to be what spurs you on to ironing out that mistake that you've made in the?
Yeah, I really miss him.
Maybe it's the only pressure you need that's not there. That's why you're
No, I don't know.
not got the win today. But I mean, still, there's nothing to be disappointed about. I think you're showing great pace. I think the battles between yourself and Dutch, and obviously Zach when he's been here, have been sort of the mainstay of this season, and obviously Panda's been there or thereabouts as well. How are you enjoying battling with Zach, with Dutch, with Panda? It seems
I really
to be
enjoy.
today you three were the class of the field in both qualifying and in the early part of the race.
Yeah, I really enjoy this battle. I think it's better than last season and the season before. It's pretty close between all of us. And yeah, it's a bit disappointing that Dutch is around 10 points ahead of me now. Maybe more. I think more. So yeah, it's pretty difficult to catch him.
Still 6 races to go, and a lot can happen as we've already seen. He said himself he's not looking forward to next week, so next week could be the one where you claw that point deficit back. So, but no, great job on the P3 despite the little mishap.
Thanks.
Right, well that rounds off another week of F1. Not F1, but F1. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed it. Like I say, we apologise for the low numbers, holidays and things. Like I say, hopefully that's sorted from next week. But make sure you tune in tomorrow for F2. Normally a fantastic turnout for F2, and if it's going off the rest of the season, we're sure it's going to be a fantastic race. So hopefully we'll see you though. See you then. Ciao for now.